These are the headlights that I had on Clifford. I built these like 4 or 5 years ago. So I bought these headlights and they only cost me like $300 on Amazon. I'm actually going to rebuild these headlights and use the projectors from the old headlights and some new halos to make them look like this. So these have 2 halos and also 2 projectors. So the low beam and the high beam. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set the oven. I actually got the information on what to set the oven at from an old Circuit Demon video. So the temperature that we're going to set is 220. And once it gets to 220, then we're going to throw in the headlight to make the sealant really soft so we can pull apart the headlight. Before you actually put this in the oven, what you want to do is you want to take out all of the screws that are on the back of the headlight. So you can leave the light bulbs in and you can also leave the harness on. Sammy, why are you yelling? So what we don't want to do is place these headlights directly in the oven. We want to put them on a baking sheet, such as one like this, and we don't want to put it lens down or lens up. We just want to put it upright, just like as it sits in the car. You want to be careful to not have any of the edges touch the side of the oven. So just watch how you put it in and set the timer for 10 minutes. And then we'll pull it apart once it comes out. We'll take it out. And you'll want to have something to take apart the headlight. So I like to use a flathead screwdriver, which I don't know where I put. Shit. Where the fuck did I put it? Oh. Found it. Okay, so it's gonna be kind of hot. So you'll want to start pulling this apart, and it's going to be difficult. You'll have to ease your way into it. Oh, okay. I kind of ruined that. This one, when I built it, it was the first time I ever built a headlight, and I put a shit ton of sealant. So it's not going to work in my favor right now. And it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass, but there we go. All right, that actually was a bit easier than I thought it would be. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sweet, so now it's fully taken apart. I'm gonna take this off so I can take this whole piece out. This is out. This is where the blinker goes. So if you want to spray paint this, then this is the perfect time to do it. Now I'm going to take, so this is one whole assembly right here. This is the high beam projector that I installed myself, along with this shroud and halo. So this is all one whole piece. I'm going to take it out because I'm going to use this whole piece for my new headlight. And you see the, let's tuck that in. These right here, where you adjust the light or the direction of the light, that is where you're going to unscrew these. And then you can get this housing out. Almost out. There we go. All right. So I went ahead and baked the Amazon headlights and pulled the lens off so I can get this ready to be modified. Okay, so if you want to install a high beam projector in your headlights, it's really not hard. So here's the high beam, low beam assembly that I took out of my my previous or my former headlights that came out of Clifford. The high beam projector is secured in the back with this. It just screws onto the ends of the projector assembly, and then you just have to wire in the plug. So I'll show you what it looks like. I can't fully take it out just because I have the plug wired in, but the assembly itself looks like this. So this is just the high beam projector assembly, and it has the light already wired in, and I bought it like this. So it just fits in the back of the housing. That piece, you fit it in the back, and then you secure it on with this. So you just twist this on to secure it, and then you wire in the plug for the high beam, and that's it. So I am actually now going to install this assembly, the high beam, low beam assembly, into the Amazon headlights. Here's the inside of the Amazon headlight. I'm going to take out this low beam, high beam assembly piece right here, which is all in the chrome color, and I'm going to replace it with my already made high beam, low beam projector assembly. I'm going to put this into this headlight here. I'm gonna do this, make it easier on myself. Okay, so now that it's out, which is kind of a pain to get out, just FYI, I'm going to put the other assembly in this. So I put this piece back in for stabilization purposes. It'll keep this stable since it has this piece in the back. So all we have to do now is put it on. Let's see, that will go there. This. Okay. Oops. Okay. So that is in. So after you're done, it'll look like this. So now you have the low beam and the high beam projectors. Okay, so now we're going to install the halos. What I have for halos, let me just go through my box here. Okay, so I have the Profile Performance halos. Let me open it. And in the box, you have the controller, which I'll show you. It looks like this. It's just, this will hook up to your Bluetooth controller, but we will worry about that later. That is when it comes time to installing it inside your car. The other piece of this is the actual halo itself. And this is a 70mm ring. So I went with two 70mm rings. That's actually what is inside. The finished headlight is two 70mm ring halos. So for this one, looks like this in the package. And this is what it looks like. It's a ring and it has, do you see the little tabs? There's 3 of those. You're gonna use these for actually putting on or securing the halo to the headlight itself. And then at the very end of it, it has a grommet and a plug. All right, so another piece of doing the high beam projector halo is the shroud, because you need something to secure the halo to. You can purchase all of this usually from the same store that you purchased the halos from. I went through a store called the Retrofit Source. They had everything I needed, so I purchased through them. Just for the high beam projector, you're going to need a shroud. So make sure and there's quite a few shrouds to choose from, so make sure when you're choosing a shroud, you choose the one that is going to fit your halo. So this is a 70mm halo. This shroud fits 70mm halos, as you can see. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, in order to secure the halo to the shroud, we're going to drill some holes. And you can do this with a Dremel, which is what I'm going to use, or you can do it with a drill. The Dremel is just easier for me to use, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And I'll show you what I mean by drilling holes and where you'll want to drill them. Okay, so to drill holes, I have a paint pen here that's going to help me with drilling the holes. What I wanna do is drill them in a spot where it's not going to show up so much. So I'm going to line this up where I want it, and then I'm going to choose spots on the side here. 1, 2, 3. And then, now that I have those, I'm gonna do 2 holes. So I have the spots on the side, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm also going to do them on the top, and I'll show you. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Where's the lid? Okay, so I have 3 dots on the top and also 3 dots on the side. So top, side. Because the reason being is we want the wire that we're going to secure this halo on to disappear as much as possible. So when we're securing this halo on, we're going to go through the tiny holes that are on here for attaching. As you can see, the tiny little tabs on the sides. And then we're going to go through this top and also go through this bottom, and we're going to tie it on the inside of the shroud. This will help keep the wires from not showing as much. Alrighty. So let's begin. So I have this type of fitting on. I'm going to use this to drill the holes. It's just a cylindrical type of fitting. Okay, so after you're done, I went ahead and smoothed out the edges as much as I could. You will have, and you can repaint these as well. You have the hole on the side, and you also have the hole on the top. So you have 2 holes, 2 holes, 2 holes. And this will really help with securing your halos on. So now what I'm going to do is install the shroud on the high beam projector, and it's going to fit on like this. So it just fits on top like that. And let's go ahead and install this. So we want to line it up with the holes that we drilled. And what I'm going to use is installation wire. So I'm going to use this silver installation wire. And I also have some snips here as well. So I'm going to get enough wire. So I'm just going to get this much, which seems like a lot, but it really helps when you're trying to tie it. So let's go ahead and put it through the tiny hole on the halo, and then through the top hole on the shroud. And then we're going to put the other side through the bottom hole on the shroud. Then we're going to flip it over. And so we have the wire coming through on the shroud. We are going to twist it to secure it. But I'm just twisting it like I'm twisting a bread tie. So after I have it tightened, see, I have it twisted like a bread tie. Hopefully that can be seen. Then I'm going to cut off the excess and then just fold it down. This one, and then we'll go ahead and do the other two now. Same process, put it through the halo, then the top hole on the shroud, and then put the other side through the bottom hole on the shroud. Flip it over and twist it like a bread tie. As tight as you can. And once you feel they are secure enough, cut off the excess and then fold it down. Okay, then there we go. Remove that cat hair. And there's another cat hair. Okay, so that's the finished product. You have your shroud and then you have your halo hooked on there. It's pretty solid. I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. We are going to take our housing and install this to where this goes through a convenient portion of the housing to where it is not in the way. There. Okay, so all I did was fish this through under here and have it come through this bottom hole right here. So I'm gonna actually do this with both of the halos. I'm gonna have both of the wires coming out of this bottom hole underneath the low beam. So next we're gonna do the low beam projector, and we're not going to do it on here, we're going to do it on the section of the housing that is attached to the lens. So this part of the housing is attached to the lens by screws. So you want to take these screws out. There's about 4 of them. It could be different on your headlight housings, but my 3 screws are right here. So I'm going to take these out so I can remove this piece from the lens. Okay, so now that I have this part of the housing disconnected from the lens, I'm gonna put the lens to the side. We are going to drill holes in this part of the lens housing because this is where our halo is going to attach. So here's our housing. It's going to fit pretty much like that. So we are actually going to need to cut this part of the housing to fit the projector for the high beam. So we're gonna do that using the Dremel. But first I'm gonna show you the halo, and then we'll get to cutting this part of the housing to fit the high beam projector. So here's the halo. It's the exact same as the high beam projector halo. So you want to take your paint marker and you want to mark exactly where you want the holes to be. So as you can see, I have the yellow dots marked. And then I also drew a yellow line on this inside lip right here, because I'm going to cut a slit here so this wire can go down. I don't want it to obstruct the projector lens, and I also don't want it to be seen from the outside, so it's going to go down. So now we have our holes drilled. We have the slot back here for the wire to be tucked in, and then we also have 2 holes here, 2 holes here, and then 2 holes here. So before we put the halo in, I think what I want to do is I want to mark where I need to cut this section. Let me get the light. This section here, so it'll fit the high beam projector and halo. So I'm going to do a rough marking. Because more than likely I'll need to cut more than this off. But we're gonna cut that much off for now. As you can see, that much is going to be cut off, and then we'll see how it fits. Okay, so I cut off just enough. I have it back in the lens. We're going to just do a rough test fit. Let me poke some of this back through. And it looks like that will actually work. It'll work perfectly. So I don't know if I can get it to, I'm not sure if you can tell, but it is pretty much perfect. So I'm gonna take this off, and I'm going to clean up these edges, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to install the halos in this. See, so stick that through. Let's grab our wire. All right, and there we go, all done. So this is what it looks like after putting the headlight back together. So dual projectors for low beam and high beam, also dual halos for low beam and high beam, and then you have, of course, the sea light that came with this headlight housing. But I'm gonna pop this back in the oven at 220 degrees for 10 minutes to soften up the sealant that goes around the lens and the housing. And I'm going to secure the lens to the housing again, and then put the screws back in the back. And then we'll be all done with this headlight. And here they are, the finished headlights.